What are the things you would like to suggest to them, that things to keep in mind as they are building pilots and then planning for real global implementation and different stages? So please share some of your thoughts and experience in
Sure,
the area.
sure. Um, so there's a few things, right? We did it pretty well in the beginning because we started small.
Mhm.
Um, and listen, I told you to remind me, right? Talk about small and mid-sized businesses and all of that good stuff. And I think I'm going to get into it right now. Whether you're a large corporation or you're a small mom and pop company, or you're a mid-sized company, you have 500 to 1,000 employees. You need to start these programs in a small fashion, maybe 2 to 4 people. Never start with one is my greatest advice, because listen, just like neurotypical people, some people work and some people don't work, right? Although you're trying on the back end and the front end to make sure all of these things marry up and they work right, there's invariably going to be a challenge or an impediment, and you need to be able to overcome that and not just say, oh, because we had one person who didn't work out, we're going to stop the program. That does not make for, if you're doing it in a pilot, it does not make a good sense to even go that route, because you'll never get to a program level, because you're not seeing the benefits of having 3 or 4 people, because those 3 or 4 people may outweigh that one person who wasn't successful in that particular job. And again, it's similar to everybody else in neurotypicals. Not everybody works out. So the other piece of it is, besides starting out small, taking baby steps, making sure your company is, before a person even comes in who's on the spectrum and sits down at that desk, that everybody around them who's going to be working with them is trained in autism awareness or autism inclusion, whatever that may be. And your vendor partners like Rangam will be able to do that for you, right? So again, we didn't know what we didn't know. We had come and utilize the vendors to enable our folks to be trained on autism awareness and inclusion, know how to interact. That's the second piece. And we learned along the way, and we're able to do that piece on our own at this point, which is wonderful. But then there's the third aspect, is the manager of the person. So listen, we always get the people who are like, yes, I want to be the manager of somebody who's neurodiverse and is coming in. I want to be the at the forefront of all of this. But here's what you need to do. And we had a challenge in the beginning of that. You need to vet that manager extensively. And it's not just because they want to do the program. And most people do it for all of the right reasons, but invariably you'll also have somebody who's looking potentially for promotion. It looks good on a resume. Those are the wrong reasons. But what you need to do as a small company, even a mid-sized company, is make sure that the people that they manage currently think that they're a good manager, that they're giving clear and direct feedback. They have a cadence of performance reviews, whether that's weekly, biweekly, monthly, whatever it is. And in the beginning, we always tell our managers, you need to make sure that you're in constant communication with a person who's new to the firm. And you should be doing that regardless if the person's on the spectrum or not, anyways, to make them feel welcome, to make sure that they have what they need from, let's say, an accommodation, a reasonable accommodation, whether that be noise canceling headphones or low level lighting or whatever it may be. But you should be doing that for all of your employees. So if you can find that manager who has those ingrained into his or her character already, you've kind of nailed it, right? You'll be successful in that program. And when there is impediments or stumbling blocks, you also need to know who you can go to get those obstacles removed. We are lucky enough that we have an autism work program. This is my full-time job. I tell everybody I got the greatest job in the world because it's like running a nonprofit in a for-profit machine. Smaller companies may not have that being able to be built into their capacity or through their HR line of business. So you're going to have that person, that point person, who can remove those obstacles. And here's where the vendors come into play, like Rangam. You're going to have somebody that you can call up and say, hey, listen, I've experienced this. This is new to me. I'm not well versed. Potentially, how should I handle? Get that advice. People that you can rely on for advice is probably your greatest asset. And we also tell small companies, mid-sized and large companies, that they can contact us as well, right? So I have a couple other colleagues, Kathy West and Moosey Lee and Lee Corliss, who are awesome. And you can bounce off your ideas, and we will take your phone calls and we will take your emails and try to help you as best we can. We've helped numerous large corporations, pilot programs, and even some small ones too. So I think I went through all the successes, the challenges, and even the mid-sized and small-sized companies.